For decades, the global economy ran on a predictable rhythm. Supply chains spanned continents, trade agreements bound nations together, and the international system prioritized open borders and seamless commerce. Then, the connection snapped. High-stakes, deliberate decisions made behind closed doors brought the momentum of this system to a halt. The integrated global order did not slowly decay, it was intentionally disassembled. Donald Trump was the primary architect of these choices, leading an administration that prioritized the dismantling of the established political order. Looking back at the volume of policies from this era, a specific question remains for historians. Of all the disruptive choices made, which one acted as the final blow to the old world order? The investigation begins with the global supply chain. This massive network of shipping containers and cargo ports was the first target of the new policy direction. The administration imposed tariffs on a massive scale, specifically targeting imports from China. They argued that existing trade practices were inherently unfair and that aggressive measures were necessary to correct the imbalance. By making foreign goods more expensive, the government intended to repatriate manufacturing and strengthen domestic industry under the America First banner. The fallout was immediate. Businesses worldwide were forced to scramble, abandoning long-standing logistic networks and attempting to redesign their entire supply chains on the fly. Foreign policy followed a similar trajectory. The America First doctrine pressured allies to increase their own defense spending, challenging the traditional role of the United States as the primary guarantor of global security. The administration reassessed its involvement in major international institutions, triggering a debate over whether the United States would continue to lead the agreements it helped create. These aggressive shifts in trade and diplomacy provided the first evidence that the era of uncontested globalism had reached its end. The focus then turned to internal sovereignty. The administration overhauled immigration procedures and focused heavily on physical border security, creating a visible barrier against the flow of globalization. Public reaction was starkly divided. While supporters viewed these measures as essential for national security, critics pointed to humanitarian and legal concerns, leading to years of intense public debate. Energy policy was the next pillar to be disrupted. The administration moved to maximize domestic fossil fuel production, prioritizing energy independence over international environmental standards. This shift culminated when the United States withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement. The administration argued the accord placed an unfair economic burden on the country compared to other major polluters. National security and digital infrastructure became inseparable. Digital networks were no longer just tools for commerce. They were now seen as primary theaters of competition. The government took a tough stance against specific foreign technology companies, driven by fears of cyber vulnerability and technological espionage that threatened the nation's infrastructure. Collectively, these policies redefined what it meant for a nation to be secure, linking trade, physical borders, and digital technology into a single defensive strategy. No single policy is solely responsible for the end of the old global order. The lasting impact is found in the inescapable global conversations these decisions triggered, debates about economic security, technology, and the changing balance of power. These conversations have recalibrated global geopolitical strategy, often pitting the demands of national sovereignty directly against the needs of economic security. Whether viewed as reforms or controversial departures, these shifts forced governments and businesses worldwide to adjust their strategies to a new geopolitical landscape. This historical shift is bigger than one leader. It reveals how the choices made in one influential country inevitably ripple across continents, affecting diplomacy and everyday lives thousands of miles away. History is shaped by the consequences leaders leave behind. For future historians, the mystery is not whether these decisions changed the world, but which of them will be remembered as the greatest turning point.